DJ Chronicles.
Oh yeah, another episode of DJ Chronicles with yours truly, DJ DYMONDKUTZ. This evening, my guest will explain to us this new app, and the app is called KeeHee Dating, and it goes by the name of Mr. Troy Rawlings, which happens to be part of an organization that we are with. How you doing today, Troy?
I'm good. I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Let me come over there where you at.
You're a little low. Maybe it's on my end. Might have to turn you up a little bit. But you're looking good. That set is beautiful. That set is beautiful.
Appreciate it.
And you're switching up now. You sound perfect. Good Lord, you got sets in it. The studios. What's going on?
Things around here.
DJ DYMONDKUTZ, how you feel, man?
I feel good. But yourself?
I'm good. Feel good to be here in a ambassador capacity.
So,
folks at KeeHee.
For those people out there who do not know exactly who Mr. Troy Rawlings is, explain to the people.
Well, in this capacity, I've been. For those that don't know me, I'm an entertainer, Troy Rawlings. You can Google me and find out everything about me. But for the past about 17 years, I've been doing a sex, love, relationship tour, the Taboo Talk tour. Troy Rawlings Raw and Cut. Comedy is the tool to talk about sex, love, relationships, and everything in between, uncut, uncensored. And it kind of fell in the lap. I was working with an amazing author by the name of best friend and author by the name of Yonder, and he wrote erotic fiction. So when I was doing comedy, I was producing shows. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland originally. I'm in Los Angeles now. And we started doing a book tour called What I Do Is Taboo Book Tour. Hey, Naja, how are you? And everybody live, you can say what's up. Make sure you're sharing it with your people. Hey, what's going on? So I started this Taboo Talk book tour, and we started in Mondawmin Mall in Baltimore, Maryland. And shout out to the author Carl Weber. He started a bookstore called Urban Knowledge in Mondawmin Mall. Yeah. And that was one of the first spots that I was doing a lot of book signings when I was doing publicist work with different book authors. And Yonder was one of the authors. He was an upcoming author that saw some of the work I was doing with another author, and it was pretty dope. It was thanks, Nigel. It was pretty dope. He hit me up and he said, "Man, I love what you're doing. I got a book coming out." And as soon as we connect, it was just like instant. You know, you can't connect with some people and it just blows up. So we started this book tour. And as we were doing the book tour, erotic fiction, anybody that reads, especially the women that read, because erotic fiction, women shut it down. It's like any women that read Harlequin or Danielle Steele or Zane, you're already into erotic fiction. And shout out to Patrice Fisher out there too, from Zane Sex Chronicles. As I stepped back and looked at the tour one day, it was a woman on the tour. And she came up and she bought a book and she looked at me and, you know, I'm a caramel brother, he a chocolate brother. We standing there, got our blazers on, our t-shirts, and we standing and talking. She's like, "Let me ask y'all something. Y'all two men. How raw uncut can I get on here?"
You can get raw.
Okay. So y'all two men. My man came home the other night from work and came in the door, and I walked up to him, was going down on him to take care of him. I was suck him off, and he stopped me. Is he cheating on me? And it was like, look at y'all. We looked at y'all. I was like, I ain't never heard no guy stopping a woman from giving them service at the door. I don't know what you're talking about. And we laughed and stuff. I was like, oh, you just holding up. Was you always jumping on him when he came in the door? Is this something new? But as we were laughing and stuff, and I'm a comedian, so I don't mind embarrassing myself. But I was like, well, also, sis, you gotta realize that he's still at work. And she was like, I was like, here, you know, it takes men longer to deprogram than y'all. Y'all could be at work talking to a girl. We gonna go to the club tonight. And yes, ma'am. Yes, your son was locked up today, and yes, he does have syphilis. No, I gotta call you back, girl. Yeah, we're gonna hang. And women can do that and go into a flow, go home, take care of the kids, do all this stuff. Guys are compartmentalizing our thinking. If we get into something at work, it's with us at home. It's with us, you know. So I realized that this conversation was uncut, uncensored, but we're standing in a mall. It's a Saturday. It's women with kids walking by. It's you know, and women don't break conversation. They're not like, oh, excuse me, ma'am. They just talking. Right. I was like, man, what would happen if we put this in a more private atmosphere or even charge for it? And I talked to Jan and say, hey, how much you need to make off your book? And I was like, I add some food and some drinks to it. And we started in the back of a bookstore with 12 people. In a year's time, we were in a ballroom with 1,200 people. And I realized that people wanted to get open. People don't want to be, we put these taboo restraints on people, and they don't want to be locked down when it comes to relationships. People's relationships are struggling because they're not being able to be open and say what they want. I want this. I'm not getting it at home. Maybe they don't even know how to tell their husband. Women don't know how to, and 90% of the audience was women. Now we're getting more of a male base, especially when it comes to the dating piece. I want to make sure I give a shout out to the folks at KeeHee.com for bringing me on board, because what happened is their mission with KeeHee in the Pandora box and KeeHee.com. Hey, Tori, hey, T, and KeeHee.com, their mission was so on point with what I'm talking about as far as relationships. You get into ladies, you know, you're going out here dating, or guys, you're going out here dating, and it's like, we're in 2021. The last thing you want right now, especially because everything is online, is somebody's representative. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to go in and just, and what I like most about KeeHee is that when we were talking, I was working with her on some, the owner is a female actually. And I was working with her on some projects, marketing, promotion. She's part of the team that we're working with for marketing, promotion. And as we talked, she was like, man, I just wish you could help move this message forward. And I was like, sure, as long as you don't mind. And my philosophy and everything we do as far as talking about relationships and writing the books, and we're gonna mention this book later because people that register get a free book. And writing the books had everything to do with being butt naked honest. And they have something in KeeHee.com that gets rid of catfishing, gets rid of all the junk. You can put stuff in your Pandora box that is strictly for, all right, if you're ready for my Pandora box, girl, let me take you over to that, you know.
So when it comes to dating, do you think, as far as both sides, do you think everybody's just tired of the guessing game, or do they want it straight to the point?
Yeah, it's something that, like I said, butt naked honest. That's my book. I think it's the point, and I realized quickly that the frustrations that people are having, I believe it's the things that are not said that mess most people up. Right. It's not the things that are said, it's the things that aren't said. And because we'll hold it and wait and let it fester until it becomes something else. So in dating, people have been used to going with their representative. You put on your best gear, you got your hair done, ladies, you got all the makeup done, you get everything done except for this and this. You get everything done except for your mind and your heart. And you go in there and you got your hurt and you got all that stuff. One thing I like about KeeHee is that they, in the Pandora box, they have like questions, and the questions delve into the deeper things. The questions delve into, you know, the broke, the broken, the damaged. And a lot of times that's hard for people to talk about. You know, most people are going with the representative. The last thing they want you to know up front is, yeah, I was hurt in my last relationship. Or yeah, you know, I've been out of work for a while because we coming off of COVID. We come off of 2020, the worst year in the last 100 years. You know what I'm saying? And you getting in there, and one person may be working, the other person may not be working. But if you're really looking to find someone that you mesh with, or you're just looking to have fun, you still want to know where they lie. What's your finances like? Are you damaged to the point where I say something and you go off on me? You know, what are the key things? And I think that's dope that you can have a section, like everybody can register, and registration is free. But then when you get into a membership, you have an option to do this whole Pandora box thing. And I think that's so dope because a lot of times, we continuously give pieces. And I'm more of a butt naked honest person. I'm registered. I'm on it. I'm single. So I'm on KeeHee. So but I give pieces, and like, because for one, it's good conversation starters. Like, we all live. Right. Like T said, ask all questions. Ask everything up front. And KeeHee.com for the people who don't know, KeeHee.com.
Now, for years, women used to be like, I want this particular man. They want a real man. Like I remember a woman saying to me that she wants a man that still has his original teeth.
His original teeth?
His original teeth.
I hope she was in her 20s. Because some of these jokers.
And I'm like, okay. There was such a demand on men to be so real. Do you think it should be the same standard when it comes to women these days? Because, you know, women have the weaves, they got the eyelashes, the butt implants, the breast implants, lip implants. More so to the point, if you remember the movie, I'm Going to Get You Sucker, that's exactly what most women have these days. They went shopping at a body grocery store. So do you think it's fair to the point women are more demanding on men, or should men be more demanding on women?
It's weird because women, I was talking to the owner of KeeHee, a woman, and a bunch of, I talk to women all the time. We have women in the business and from doing our events, and we're setting up the virtual tours now. And, you know, we have a Taboo Talk tour coming up. So thousands of women for 17 years. Women have always had more competition than men. Women wake up in competition with each other. So even if guys think they're the reason that women are trying to do all the things they're doing, women have their own flow. And they're already in enough competition with each other. If a guy wants a chick that is natural, you can find it. If you want a chick that's wearing all this, you know, all the hair and the makeup and all that, you can find it. If you want a chick with a big booty and this, that, and that, you can find it. What's so funny to me, though, is the very things that especially Black women were dogged about are the fashion now. It's the thing that people are spending thousands and millions of dollars to get their body to look like. The very things that Black women were dogged about for years. And so I think for guys, women a lot more lenient. Women will say, how many times, and there's women out here now, women watching, how many times women you had this whole list about what you wanted, but you met this short, stubby dude that treated you nice. And like, he nice though. Women will women have a tendency to throw their list out the door to settle. And I think that's why the dating scenarios have shifted a bit, and the dating sites, catfishing became such a big thing. Now with KeeHee, it was like, you know what? I think there's in talking to the owner of KeeHee and coming on board, at first I was like, okay, it seems like, oh, that's superficial. But it's not superficial. What happens is the same thing I wrote about in my book. You give people the option of dealing with you. Okay. Versus surprising them. You know, a friend of mine, I gotta mention it. I'm not mentioning no names. She was on a dating site that most people know and that happens to be free. And most people are on this social media site. And and she was on the dating site. Should porn and sex toys be a part of a relationship? Yes. She was on the dating site and she goes in, she meets this guy. The guy's great. He's giving her gifts and stuff. And she's telling me about these different dates she's going on because this site's just going on. And mind you, she's over 60. There's a big demographic of beautiful women, and most women age backwards. So most women most y'all women, Black Asian, any ethnic women, y'all Asian, like y'all vampires. I don't know what's going on. They vampires. So I got friends, female friends that are over 60 and they're dating and they looking for certain things and they still having sex and they still want a good guy. And most of them are retired, got their own money, retired, doing different careers. You know, it's different from back in the day. They expected you to retire and die within 5 to 10 years. Now people retiring and living another 30 years. So that's a big deal. It's different things happening now. So the thing that's so funny is she went on this date and this guy's giving her gifts and stuff. And she seemed like cool, but he's like, yeah, but he's like severely knock-kneed. I was like, say what? What are you talking about? He's like severely not like he walking like he doing the Cabbage Patch. And I was like, what happened now? I said, he didn't say that, do you mind a handicap? Because it's not like the bow-legged dude in school that was supposed to be all cool and he walking around. He's like, he bow-legged, girl, look. That's a deformity. It's not like it was supposed to be sexy. Oh, you know what that mean when he bow-legged? It means he has a deformity. This dude was severely knock-kneed. And they go on a date and she's into hiking. She set up the date to be at the beach so that they could walk. And they walked a little bit and he said, we got to go back. But he never told her that, hey, by the way, I have sort of a handicap. And that kind of hit me because I was like, yeah, that's kind of, because it puts you in a weird position. All of a sudden, you don't know this person has a handicap. It's not like the person cross-eyed and you find out when you say, well, I didn't tell they was cross-eyed in the picture because they looking over here in the picture. I thought they were just looking away. I didn't know they were. It's like this person can hardly walk. So as long as the penis works, who care about legs or arms? She knows she care about legs and arms. You're going to have a legless, armless man just because his penis works? See, that's the kind of stuff you need to talk about in Pandora Box. KeeHee.com. Go to KeeHee.com. But you want to find out. But here's the biggest thing. Give the person the choice. If you give the information up front, it's the same. Me and the folks at KeeHee have the same philosophy. If I give you the information up front, we don't waste each other's time. If I'm having issues in finances, if I'm damaged, if I'm trying to get myself together, if there's certain things going on, if that's a point of conversation, because a lot of the things that happen is people don't talk about the things until later on when they're already tied in. And some people do it on purpose. I've heard over the years.
Now, I got a quick question. Do you feel those people who have been hurt, do you think they should jump right back into trying to get another relationship?
No. Everybody, men included. Because there was this weird thing back in the day that people used to say, oh, you know, the way to get over one woman is get on top or get under another one. Women would say the same thing. And that's not cool because hurt people. Mental health is sexy now. So we have enough documentation. There's enough YouTube videos. You should not jump from a relationship getting into another relationship. And if you do decide to do it, you better talk about it up front. Give the person the opportunity. You know, shoot, it's one thing, you know, I believe people should talk about, you know, if I'm interested, we sexting and stuff like that. And I don't say, hey, you got STDs I need to know about? Right. Any STIs, anything I need to know about? Because we got this vibe going and I know where it's heading. So you want to talk about something? If some people are like, who's going to tell the truth? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Right. Most people, say it again.
I said, because I come to realize that most people who's hurt, they want to run to like a dating app because their thing is that's something they can jump right into without all the, I guess, the sit down, and it can cover up. It's their way of putting a mask on. So their thing is I can become this person automatically without this person actually knowing the real me.
Right. And it's not like somebody said, go out and people, that is true. Dating is dating. Now, what's so funny is, like I say, my women who are 40 and over, and been through all the stuff. And he was like, and a friend of mine, real close friend of mine, she's over 60. And she was like, Troy, what constitutes dating? I was like, going out on a date, this, that, and that. She said, yeah. But when you and a person having sex, is that still dating? I said, well, what do y'all call it? Now, mind you, I'm from Baltimore. I'm from around the way. My life ain't been pristine. You know, I'm a kid. I didn't find out what making out was until I was 30 something here at a bar. We having a conversation at the Blue Room in Burbank, and somebody's like, yeah, Witchcom was over there in the booth making out. I'm like, behind the bar, I was like, they were in the booth fucking? I'm like, no, Troy, what are you talking about? I was like, what I say? What is that? I was like, I thought y'all said they were making out. It was like kissing. I didn't even know what making out was. So it was funny because I thought that was funny, but fast forward, I'm talking to a 60-something-year-old woman that's interested in this guy. And she told him up front, hey, I'd like to be in a serious relationship. I'm looking for marriage. I'm looking for somebody to spend the time with. Now, this guy's been married several times. And he said, well, you know, I'm more so into dating. So I don't know where the conversation went, that as it got more serious, in her head, she's like, well, maybe his mind is changing. Well, he told you in the beginning, he wasn't looking for marriage. But what's happening is, and this is the thing people got to realize, sex has two main reasons. Sex, two things: having children and drawing two people closer together. So if the sex is good, y'all gonna get closer. Somebody's feelings are gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you find out, because people's like, why can't you just have friends with benefits? You can, but don't get upset that somebody's emotions are getting tied in, because we're emotional beings. And I think we're trying too much of taking it out of the scenario. And I think that's the thing that will be the biggest hit for most people. I think being honest up front puts you in more of a position, whereas as you're meeting people, as you're talking to people, as it's going forward, you get a chance to say, okay, this is what I want, this is who I am, this is what's going on. Are you open to it or not? And I think that's the biggest piece of dating. If you're just dating to go out and have dinner and go to the movies and stuff like that, just say that. And like I said, if you're just having fun doing that, by all means, have at it.
Right. Now, piggybacking off what you're saying about with the, I'm gonna say, young woman, when she said about the sex. Now I'm coming to find out that a lot of older women, their thing is that's all they're looking for, due to the fact they already been through marriage, the divorce. They're successful and they're content in their lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of dating apps, some turn-offs are, well, these people just want to hook up. They just want to do that. Mm-hmm. When it comes to KeeHee dating, I know that they had to think about every aspect of the dating scene. So what makes KeeHee dating so different than every other company?
Well, the main thing is that it doesn't matter your sexual preference, your gender, anybody can go in there, first off. You get a chance to find out what you really want to find, who you really want to talk to, who you really want to deal with. And you get rid of the fluff. You get rid of the catfishing, for one, because certain people go on sites and they're just looking to prey. Some of the sites, people go in and they meet somebody and it's another. But I think you should go out, if you're ready to date, you should do what dating does. For the guys know when we switch from dating to courting. Women don't know that sometimes. But if a woman has ever been courted, she knows. If a woman has been, if a guy really wants to be with you, nothing will stop him from contacting you and calling you and reaching out. And, KeeHee takes it quickly from the dating scenario to what's next. So Right. The women are having conversations. I love calling versus sexting and texting. That's right. And that's another thing for older folks. We want to get down to you can tell if people are wasting time. Like I had a friend on the dating site and they were talking about how, and that happened to me sometimes. All of a sudden, the person is continuously texting you. And it's like, look, if we're going to go to the next level, texting, you know what texting is like to me? Texting is like dating and making out. A conversation is like sex. A conversation is like a real relationship, because texting is that preliminary. You just touching base. It's like you text your job to let them know you're running late. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think KeeHee gets rid of all of the fluff. It gets rid of all the fluff. It gets rid of all of the what do you call it? The representative. It takes you right in. And you get to decide, do you want to deal with this? This person seems real. And then when you have a conversation, you don't have any false pretense. And I think that's a big deal. I mean, that's my book evolves around. I don't, if you're just going out to dating and have dinner and get somebody to take you out, then yeah, you keep it superficial. But a lot of people are looking for a companion.
Right.
That if something hits again, this will be the person that I can roll with. So that's a key thing you want to find out.
So to my audience out there, KeeHee Dating, it's a place where if you
and the website is KeeHee.com. For those that don't know, it's KeeHee.com. It's like KeeHee. It's a laugh. You know, it's how women laugh when you tick them just right. KeeHee. You know, so it's that.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a place to where it cuts out the ghosting, the catfishing, and you looking for something real serious, heartfelt, KeeHee Dating is the site for you. So I would advise everyone to go ahead and download the KeeHee Dating app. But more with the guru. When guys think about going out or dating, we know it's a difference between the men and the women as far as the thought process. Some women say, you know, I'll give the guy 9 months or closer to a year. Some men think that's too long.
9 months for what?
Dating. Just strictly dating. There's no touching, there's no grabbing, there's no nothing. And what I mean by that is that is a word that people don't use these days. Virgins. Purity. They feel as though it's a bad word. But I'm pretty sure there are some people out there who are like this. And they feel as though they're afraid to admit it. Like you just said, why not put everything on the table?
Right.
But I do believe there's some people that want to hold that particular thing back.
Right. And I know guys that are in their 30s and 40s that are virgins. And it changes guys, not just the women, guys. And I know women that are older, and it changes parts of the perspective. Some for religious reasons, some for just some have reasons just because they're not sure where they stand. So the big thing, and that's the thing, like Latoya said, yes, there are women and men who are virgins out there. Latoya's confused. There are women and men who are virgins. He's absolutely right. And I've talked to them, I've seen them. And of course, they get scared when they go into the dating sites because they're trying to find someone too that will accept them for who they are. You'd be surprised that a lot of people are, like you said, because all of a sudden, being someone who just is either trying to wait for marriage, or they had a situation where it was shunned upon to be out there in the streets or any of that stuff. There are people out there that need to be accepted, just like the hoe, just like the whore dude, the whoremonger, everybody like that. And they're going to the same sites and they're finding, but you got to be mindful. You don't want to get preyed upon, because there's still guys and women that prey upon knowing somebody's a virgin. The KeeHee Pandora box is not just for the hot butt naked. Okay, this is what you're getting. This is the details about me. This is this, that, and the other. It's also to let people know this is who I am. I'm open to dating and stuff like that, but I'm looking for a person that's going to be serious. That's something we need to take serious, because if we get to a place in the society overall, if we start dogging the people that are trying to live a bit more righteously than the next, or their experience hasn't been as far gone as the next, hey, a woman could be like, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I don't want to have to teach nobody this, that, and other. And that dude who's the virgin may be the greatest thing you ever got, and vice versa for the man. So, and I'm talking about people that are really saying they don't want to die alone. Everybody after 2020, everybody's looking at being alone differently. Everybody, even the introverts. The introverts was cool for a while when they can decide where they want to go. But all of a sudden, when the introvert can't decide on, I can't go to my office. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to the restaurant that I like. All of a sudden, they're like, man, and I am alone. You know what I'm saying? So the conversations change. So I think while we love to talk about the hot button neck, and you know, my shows and my forums, my books, they're raw and cut. Even my clean shows are raw and cut. But we don't talk about, I'm glad you mentioned that. We don't talk about the fact that there are people out here that have been chaste, that have been celibate, that have been abstinent, and that are cool people, but they just haven't went down that road, and they're looking for the right person to be with. And some people are looking for that. Some people have been through so much, that some women been through so much. Ladies, you definitely need a dude that ain't been with every Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, Mary Jane, Randy, Bobby, Rick, and Mike. If I love the girl, okay, that's who you like. You need to be with somebody. You need to be with the dude that you ain't got to worry about his. You're like, you got an STD test? STD, what's that? He's like, sold.
All right, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back, so don't go away. Yeah. I'm about to introduce this independent artist by the name of Nathan Graves, and the song is called I'll Go.
If you tell me I'll go, because I know you'll prepare me for it. If you tell me I'll go, because I know that you're in control. But if you tell me I'll go, Lord, I need you to keep me close. Lord, if you tell me I'll go, if you tell me I'll go, Lord, if you tell me I'll go.
Yeah, I'm blessed, glad you love me, Lord, the way you do. Never turned your back, and you've always kept your word true. Dream that I was holding on to show me how to let it go. And every part of me, I'm better when you're in control. When the waves were crashing hard, you never let me drown. You saved me from the streets and broke the chains that held me down. Holy Spirit, I'm yours, and if you tell me I'll go, you hear the knock on your heart. It's time to answer the door.
Go, because I know you prepare me for it. If you tell me I'll go, because I know that you're in control. But if you tell me I'll go, Lord, I need you to keep me close. But if you tell me I'll go, if you tell me I'll go, I'll go.
Oh yeah. Make sure you go cop that. You can get it on all the streaming platforms. Thanks again for Nathan Graves for dropping it off to me. Now we're gonna get back to the love group guru. We're gonna get a little bit deeper into this segment because I know the women want something juicy. What you say, Guru?
That's the slickest thing. That's some old 70s Playboy Mansion type stuff. He leave one set and go to the next. That's some old Hugh Hefner type shit right there. Y'all don't even understand.
Well, I know a lot of ladies out there. Their questions to, I guess, for us, because a lot of women get upset when guys seem to be interested in them until they get what they so-called what men want, and then they leave. They hit and quit it.
Right.
So what do you think that makes certain men do that? Is there a particular type of man or all men? Well, I'm not gonna say all men because I know between you and
one of the things I do, and for the past almost 20 years of doing my tour, I make sure when we end our session, I say, first off, there's no judging here. I don't care if you're a virgin or if you were sucking dick in the hallway. We all on the same playing field. Let's get rid of the whole, so there's no judgment. But the biggest thing is making sure, much love. The biggest thing is making sure that you have the conversation to see where the person is. And it's hard to tell sometimes. If a woman's like, oh, it seems like everything was good, he was doing everything right, and then we had sex, and then he just rolled out. Well, actually, ladies, there are ways to find out if this person is on that. And men, because I've had a guy tell me before, several guys, believe it or not, I have guys tell me before that they was with a woman and they wanted something more, and the woman didn't. For whatever reason, she just wanted sex. And so I get people in the rhythm of saying, when you're talking about men and women, saying some or most, because you haven't been with everybody, and everybody's not the same. The biggest thing is to get your mind wrapped around the individuality. If you're with somebody and they dogs you, they ghosted, everybody's not the same. Every guy's not like that. If you start putting every guy in that category, I've heard women put every guy dogs, all the good men are married. So what you did, you put every man in the category and said they're bad. And the only good men are married. Those same women sometimes, you be like, you messing with who? Well, he's trying to, it's complicated. He's married, but he's a baby, because you told yourself the good men are married. So you start messing with a married guy because he's a good guy, but he cheating, so, or the vice versa, so you just really gotta, actually, and say now, everybody that registers, it's free to register for KeeHee.com. So go to KeeHee.com right now, KeeHee.com. If you're watching this, go to KeeHee.com. You can register single, go in there, and you can register, put your information in, start building. You register, you get a copy of the ebook, Butt Naked Honest, Conversational Foreplay for Dating. A lot of stuff we're talking about, I talk about it here. A lot of people asking the hard questions up front. So a lot of people don't ask the questions. And for whatever reason, like we're scared, oh, I don't want to ask that. When I talked to my friend, I was like, well, did you ever ask him what was wrong with the dude's legs? She was like, nah. Why not? I tell people when I just want sex, so they don't try to get attached, but life happens, so I feel it's catch-22. That's right. That's right. You start off like, no, it's just sex. And you're like, man, the sex was so good. And he pulled my hair just right, and he whispered in my ear, I think he said, I love you. But you said you just wanted sex. So all of a sudden it starts getting complicated. It's like, so where you going? Oh, I'm going to see, my wife. Your wife? Like, This is just sex, right? You know, so you got to be careful and be honest what you want. The guy that started the we talk about the site Plenty of Fish. Everybody said, oh, I was on Plenty of Fish and it was this, it was that, or I was on. I think that's why. What's that site? What was that other site that Tinder? I think that's why sites like Tinder started doing so well. You see, some people going on asking that the taboo questions. Y'all want to go taboo right off that. I don't mind. I think that's why Tinder did so well, because people started realizing, oh, Tinder is just a site for sex. But they interviewed the guy years ago, back when he first started, nerdy looking Caucasian brother, started Plenty of Fish. He was there with his girlfriend, and white place looked like American Psycho. Everything was white. But there was a check on the table from Coca-Cola somewhere for like $500,000 sponsorship check. He was like, what makes your site so successful? He said, well, I look at what the women say they want, and I look at what women and men say they want, and I look at more of what they search, and I send them more of what they search than what they say they want. So what happens a lot of times is we're saying what we want, but our actions lead us into what we really want. So it's kind of a like T said, it's a catch-22, because you're like, yeah, I want to have sex and this is all I want, this, that, and other. And then you start getting comfortable in that mode, and you're like, man, I kind of like having somebody around. Because it started with just you wanted to have sex, but then you realize, oh man, I wanted companionship. Oh man, I want to have this all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that people don't, like yourself, anybody's been married for a long time, and you know they go through their ups and downs. And you be the single person on the side, like, man, why don't you just stop? And they looking at you like, and do what? You go through hard times anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's right. People do lie to themselves.
What about the women who only go after the married men?
Yeah.
Why is it a big attraction for them?
Well, it's a couple things. Like I said before, if you tell yourself a lie enough, you'll start believing it. So if you tell yourself all the good men are married, you'll start believing it. And then you meet a married guy, and even if he wearing the ring or he doesn't wear the ring, it's like, it's complicated. We're going through this, we're going through that. And this guy has all the stuff, you know, he is a good person, but still married. I've been in a scenario, the person was wonderful. But they were still, even though them and their mate weren't together, that still lived together, they were still married. You know, you got married couples and I talk to my psychologist friends, my therapist friends, you got married couples that have sexless marriages. They haven't touched each other in 10 years, 5 years, 9 years, 6 months, 9 months. And then one of them go out and meet somebody, and it's the greatest thing in the world. But this person knows how to be, because they got their wife there. They know how to be constrained. You're like, oh, they don't even want anything from me. But you start building a companionship with somebody that's not leaving that relationship. And that's a tough thing. That's when it gets complicated. Anytime somebody say, oh, it's complicated, that usually means you don't want to be with the person you're having sex, or you're having sex with somebody and they were somebody else. Those are the complicated things. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people feel like they don't have a choice. And that's the thing I love the most about KeeHee.com. You see that you have a whole bunch of choices. Men, women, however you roll. There's a bunch of choices out there. There are a bunch of people just like you looking for what you're looking for. And I think the misconception was, oh, all that's on there is this, all that's on there is that. But the conversations, man, when you get to these deep conversations and you start building, and the great thing about the time that we're in, you have time to have a good conversation now. You know what I'm saying? Before it's like, let's hurry up date. Now it's like, hold up. I don't even want your AIDS test. I want your COVID test. If you call for me, I ain't worried about AIDS and that, you know, they got medication for that. Are you sneezing or coughing? You trying to take their temperature with the little thing through the doggone screen. Who's doing COVID test? Nobody want AIDS test no more. They want your COVID test. Let me see your lung. Let me see your lung X-ray. Any fluid in your lungs? Let me see what's happening.
So, ladies, with everything that we were talking about this evening,
and we take questions too. The ladies, let's see the ladies popping up with questions.
So, if you have a question out there, feel free, write us in, text us in. We'll put up on the board.
COVID sex.
Okay, first question. Why is friends with benefits overrated?
Abuse is the misuse of anything. So most people, you know, sex is powerful, but most people don't listen. You're a DJ. You know the good songs of back in the day because we ain't have no buffer. Men was going for women. Everybody plays the fool sometime. It takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody. You know, love gonna do what love do. Sex gonna do what sex do. Here's the thing. Like somebody said earlier, what's the difference between love and sex? Sex is the physical act, but sex has two main reasons it exists. Not just to get your rocks off. You can get your rocks off by yourself. To make children and to draw two people closer together. That's how good it is. It can draw. That's why when you go to a therapist, if people are having problems and they go to a therapist, the therapist usually says, okay, yeah. Well, how's your sex life? Because they know if the people are still connecting sexually, we ain't but so far gone. Because if y'all still like touching, but most people, when they start separating, how's your sex life? Oh, we haven't had sex in months. They're like, ooh, we got some work to do. Unless they were like that all the time throughout their relationship and sex wasn't a big thing to them. But so friends with benefits is cool, but I know a guy, and this was in the 90s. So he was in his 50s in the 90s. Great guy, salt and pepper hair, curly, barbershop, real cool. I remember him getting married. So he's getting married later in life. And him and his cousin are going to work out. She's female, she's a trainer. And one day he comes to one of the barbershops. He's like, yeah, going through this. The wife is, he just got married. And his cousin came out and said, how's your cousin doing? And that day he was just looking at me and said, Troy, that's not my cousin. I was like, what? He said, me and such and such been kicking it for 30 years. I'm like, here's the thing that got me. Why didn't y'all two get married?
Right.
But the scenarios that happened, I was talking to a friend of mine and we went back and we're talking about when we kicked it before. And I was like, why did we not get past my own stuff? And because Troy, you had a relationship, but the people who were around you and how you got introduced, somebody else liked you and they were in, and then time just ticks away. And we get used to, like T said, the catch-22 stuff. We get used to these friends with benefit scenarios that fill a little bit of space, and then you got to let it roll, and then you get together. It's good when we get together, but why can't people just stay in that mode? So I think the conversations aren't being had. I think we didn't have the tools before. Now, like I said, now a lot of the tools and people talking is cool now. You know, you got guys talking as much as women, and women is like, I don't want all the talking. So a lot of the roles have been reversed because society has changed a lot too. You have a lot more professional women that have less time, and they have less time they feel like they have less time to do a lot of things. But those same women all of a sudden look up and it's like, I'm lonely, I want to be with somebody. And they meet a guy and the guy's like, yeah, I want this. Oprah. When people talk about, well, why isn't Oprah and Stedman married? If you ever heard the story, they were set to get married, but Oprah had an event or something come up around the time of something dealing with the wedding. And Stedman said, I'm not going to put off my wedding for that ever again. So, and Oprah has said out of her own mouth, well, Stedman is a traditional guy, and I don't know if I could fall into all of the traditional roles he wants. Now, mind you, they together, she loved cooking for him. She loved doing all this stuff. Of course, she can buy and sell the Negro, but he was a professional before Oprah and will be after. Stedman wasn't broke. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny that she, in her billionaire mind, in his genius business mind, you telling me these two geniuses couldn't figure out how to coexist in a marriage? That's deep.
Yeah. Especially all these.
So one thing, it has to be choice. Another thing, we have to get away from a lot of the mental blocks. We have a lot of mental blocks, a lot of abuse, a lot of mental blocks, a lot of people scared. You know, you got a billionaire and a successful millionaire guy, and they scared that their marriage would end because they get married. But they've been together 40 years or 30. They've been together now 30 years.
Right. Not married.
But it's a weird, it's a weird thing. That's just a piece of paper. And some people, it is just a piece of paper. But if it's just a piece of paper, why not do it? I think marriage is a lot deeper than that, just like relationships. But I want to make sure that people know the site is KeeHee.com. KeeHee.com. It is a dope experience. You need to go in there. And if you register, like I said, you get a free ebook, Butt Naked Honest Conversational Foreplay for Dating. If you get a membership, we send you an autographed copy of the book, ladies and gentlemen. And for the ladies, look at that gorgeous guy in the back of that book. You gotta get this book just for that. Look at that. But this is part one of a series. And like you said, I talk to people a lot on getting rid of the blocks and stuff. And we get in our own way a lot. And this is one of the tools with KeeHee.com. And the reason I'm happy to be the ambassador is because we're pushing forward the conversation a lot, so.
Well, y'all heard it right here. The ambassador for KeeHee Dating, which is www.keehee.com. So, Mr. Rawlings, what do you have coming up in the near future?
Well, we got a birthday experience coming up that I just dip out. Let me make sure I'm still here. We have a birthday.
Did we lose him? Okay, we're going to take this opportunity. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. And we back.
Sorry about that. I think I dipped out of the room. I fell out the chair.
No problem.
You asked me what I had coming up. We have the birthday jam coming up with you and Mrs. DYMONDKUTZ. We have that, but I'm excited because we're doing small events before we kick off the Taboo Talk tours and the Raw Uncut tours. A lot of the questions and things that people like to ask and the Raw Uncut shows that we were doing and traveling the world and everywhere from California to Maryland to Florida to Jamaica. Shout out to hedonism. We're going to be doing that kind of stuff online. And shout out to our folks in North Kakalaki and all the places we're going to be traveling. Atlanta, we got some things coming up in different places. So the tour is coming back around. We're going to be in Tampa, Orlando. We got some things we're going to do in Las Vegas. So people can reach out. I mean, not only hit us up on KeeHee.com, but they can always reach me out on social media, TroyRawlingsLive.com. And a lot of these events are going to be brought to you by KeeHee.com as well. So I'm excited about the virtual experiences because a lot of people still don't know if they want to get out or not, can get out. We're going to be working we have Top Team going on. So we're working with a lot of different businesses and we're going to be doing some conferences and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. If they tie into us, they'll find us everywhere.
Well, it's been a pleasure of having the ambassador and the love guru, Mr. Troy Rawlings, here with us right here on DJ Chronicles. Make sure you follow him. Make sure you email, stay in contact. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are tired of all the ghosting, the playing around, and you really want something really serious, this is something for you. Make sure you go to www.KeeHee.com and enjoy dating. That's what it's all about. It's about enjoying and exploring and veering to a new journey to the point where you can be comfortable by telling the truth, the absolute truth about you, to where you can absolutely get somebody who's true for you. Again, that is www.KeeHee.com. And once again, it's been a pleasure of having you, the ambassador and the love guru, Mr. Troy Rawlings.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much. Don't forget, y'all, sign up, KeeHee.com, and get your book. We can have conversations. We got open conversation. We got forums coming up in the Taboo Talk tour and the Brown Cut tour. Y'all gotta get on board for it.
All right.
Me too.
Peace. Thank you all for joining us this evening for another episode of DJ Chronicles. This is brought to you, sponsored in part by Top Team Dating, Top Team, and also the KeeHee dating app. So it's always a pleasure to always bring somebody new on. I'm trying to give y'all what y'all asked for. So once again, thank you. And remember, always wear your mask. It's not just for you, but it's also for those that you may come in contact with. It's just our way of showing each other appreciation and love. So till again, peace.